Good morning and greetings from Northumberland. It's Wednesday the 25th of May. It's the eve of the Ascension Day and it's the last day of my leave. It's also the day we celebrate St Bede the Venerable Bede, who was not an archdeacon but a monk who was given over to God and to the Abbey of St Peter at Monk Wearmouth and then served in Jarrow. It's said he never travelled further than York physically, but devoted all his time to the monastic life here in the northeast of England. He was a great writer and a great scholar, and his great work was the history of the English church and people up to the year 735. And this work helps us to understand the early church in England. There are bits of it that are a bit sketchy because he was depending on the learning of the time. But above all, he gives us great insight into the period immediately before he lived, the time of Aidan and Cuthbert and their companions and the evangelization of the northeast of England. He was, however, of the other party. He was a Romanizer, a Benedict bishop who had founded the monastery at Jarrow, Monk Wearmouth, and Ceolfrith, who came after him, were both of that party, not of the party of Aidan and originally of Cuthbert. But Bede, from this perspective, saw the holiness of these early Irish, Celtic Anglo-Saxon Christians, whatever you call them. He saw their holiness and their mission. And although he disagreed with them about some of the things like the dating of Easter, etc., he above all saw their witness to the people. And it is because of Bede that we have an insight into the life of this period, this great flourishing at the beginning of the golden age of Northumbria, and our understanding of this area as a cradle of Christianity for the north, for the northeast, and indeed for the rest of the country, as people like Chad and Ched went about the country evangelizing and preaching the gospel. So we remember Bede today. We remember this man who never travelled very far except in his mind and in his heart. And we remember his life of devotion to prayer and study and worship at those monasteries. And we pray that we may be inspired by the people whose lives he recorded and by him, that we may continue in this region, for us who live here, to live out the gospel as Aidan and Cuthbert and Bede did, and to make a difference in our world. So may God bless us. May God bless the people of Ukraine. And on this festival of St Bede, may God encourage us to live out our Christian heritage wherever we are placed.